As Alba opened the massive door to the temple, he was struck by the putrid smell of death.
"I wondered when you would come,"
a voice hissed in the darkness. In the years since the cult had taken up residence in his city, Alba had heard and seen many strange things. Voices behind the smoke, figures in the shadows, the sound of drums over the sands. There had been times he had even thought that perhaps the dragon Gurzil might be real. Other times he was almost certain that it was all just a con. But nothing could have prepared Alba for what he saw as the smoke cleared. There, before him, was a giant that defied the human experience to describe. The monster was covered in hard red scales and horns. It stood at least 3 ells high, so that even the massive domed temple seemed inadequate for its size. Its claws and teeth were razor sharp and wet with blood. And below its massive head lay the charred remains of human beings, piled like rubbish.
"You can't be real,"
Alba said, choking on the stench of burning flesh as he looked upon the impossible horror.
"Of course I am. All your senses tell you that I am. Even before you saw my glorious might, you knew me to be real. That is why it took you so long to find the courage to open that door. That is why you sent away my bride."
The dragon hissed darkly as it circled him, moving with a speed that should have been impossible for something of its size.
5 years. 5 years I have been denied my bride. I could have continued to darken the sun and poison your waters, but instead I have indulged you. This only because I wanted my temple built.
"That was you?" he asked, unable to move, part of him still wanting to believe that it was all a dream, a trick.
"Of course it was me," the dragon hissed, "though it did take quite a bit of effort. This is why I have been willing to wait, rest, and amuse myself in other ways,"
the creature said, moving over to a pile of gold and silver. Looking around, Alba now realized that the massive circular room was full of treasure. There were piles of gold and diamonds, glittering in the dim light of the torches that illuminated the chamber. Among the gold were stacks of raw ivory tusks and reams of silk. In the center, stretched out over a pile of gold and gemstones, was a beautiful, slender young woman with long ice-blonde hair, her Aryan tattoos bright on her light skin. Alba had been so stunned by the sight of the dragon that he had completely missed the woman half buried in the gold.
"A vandal,"
Alba said breathlessly, looking at the woman.
"You serve the Vandals."
By the gods, how could he have been so blind?
"I serve no one!"
The dragon boomed, bringing itself to full height.
"She is nothing but a gift from one loyal to my ends. She is my pet, an attractive distraction that has proven more useful than originally expected,"
the dragon said, snaking its tail possessively around the woman with the lusty indifference with which a sultan would embrace a concubine. Hey guys, Brian McKee here. And what you just heard was the retail sample for an audiobook that I narrated, and that is now up for sale on Audible.com. It is called Gurzil, The Wars of Wrath, Book 1. It's an epic, alternate history fantasy novel set in the mid-6th century. It features dark, gritty themes, deals with the brutal reality of the Dark Ages, and weaves in the darker sides of all sorts of mythological creatures, historical legends, and characters from ancient medieval folklore, such as King Arthur and Merlin. The summary reads as follows. With the fall and sack of Rome, the barbarian hordes of the East claimed the lands of the Western Empire and brought forth an age of tyranny. Against this darkness, two heroes will rise. They come from worlds apart, bound together by magic and cursed by fate. On the war-ravaged island of Britain, King Cedric of Wessex launches a treacherous blitz attack against the kingdoms of the Romano Britons. Hopelessly outnumbered, the last descendant of King Lear, George of Bertilack, must hold the Saxon advance long enough for his sworn enemy, Arthur Pendragon of Camelot, to unite the Britons in common cause. Far to the south, in the deserts of Libya, Princess Sabra of Saline fights against a more insidious foe. However, the shadowy cult that holds her people in bondage is more formidable than she realizes. For the god they worship is no idol of dead stone or gold. He is the last of his kind, an ancient evil, a relic of an age when fallen angels and Nephilim ruled over mankind. For centuries he has waited. But now the dragon Gurzil is ready to make his move. For this has been foretold, and this will come to pass. It was a lot of fun to work on. The author was very friendly and helpful with the pronunciation of some of the more exotic phrases and words that I didn't initially have familiarity with, and the titular Gurzil is a blast to give voice to. It's a good listen for anyone who enjoys ancient history, folklore, myths, and legends. There's a link to check it out in the description and the pinned comment. Again, it was loads of fun, and it would mean a lot to me if you were to check it out. Purchasing from the link below can help support the channel even. I thank you for your time, and I hope you have a nice day.